Next question is from Larry Foote on YouTube. Hey, Adam. I'm trying to figure out how to handle multiple yeast strains in the brewery. What equipment do I need? How do I schedule different strains? So there's a complex way to approach this and a utilitarian way, practical way to approach this. And I tend toward the practical. What I like to have is I like to have in-house a clean strain, an IPA strain, or something for hazy, and something dry as a backup, right? And so let me flesh this idea out a little bit. So when I was at Cartridge, I had basically a clean strain and a hazy strain, or London 3. I was running London 3 or Harvest from Imperial Yeast. The nice thing is about that is my clean strain was Harvest the lager yeast, so I can make all the lagers I wanted. And I could also make basically all the ales I wanted to with London 3. You know what I mean? You're not really going to be hurting too bad when you do something like that. If you want to try something maybe really approachable and really dependable, I would have no problem with saying, all right, I want my clean strain and I want my, something else, like, something to be able to do hazies or something more fruity. I would have no problem with saying, I'm going to run American ale yeast, because with American ale yeast, I could make a cold fermented light adjunct beer that would be just as drinkable and crushable to 95% of the people that are going to be drinking your beer. Then, that's kind of the name of the game, right? You would be able to do that. And then you would have that as a yeast grower for a West Coast style IPA, which would probably pour very well in your place, right? And you can bounce that strain back and forth. American ale yeast is very robust. Very robust. You can get a ton of generations out of it. Take good care of it, good cleaning practices, X, Y, and Z, right? The other thing is with, if you have your hazy strain, then you can run all of your ales, all your fruited stuff, all your dry hop stuff. And it can really play well for you. So you're doing a lot of things with just 2 yeast strains that are very robust. Now, I also mentioned dry strains. I did mention fruited beer. Sometimes if I have a fruited beer that's actually going to get like a fruit puree in the fermenter and I'm going to ferment it out, sometimes I love just having that brick or two of dry yeast, like a dry 04, I think is very dependable. If you're just going for a really fruit forward ale to serve, that's a great yeast for stuff like that. You can do it with 05 too, just some clean dry stuff around. And so that way you don't have to worry about repitching it. It's definitely cheaper than your liquid strain. So, that's kind of the way that I would look at it. Now, you can rotate things in. I've done things like that where I kind of have my 2 workhorse strains that get my cleaner styles done, and then maybe some hoppy and some fruitier things done as well. I think that's really key. I think it's a good place to play with temperature, oxygen levels, different things like that. See what you can get out of those. But yeah, I love to keep a little flex dry yeast on hand. Try to stay tight on your yeast practices and your yeast health, and kind of run it like that. And you can bring in some seasonal stuff when you're going to buy a pitch, though, especially if you have to buy a full volume pitch. Plan 3 beers off of it, right? So maybe toward the middle of summer, you want to put your hef up. And then that you can brew Dunkelweiss off of that, which is going to kind of get you into August, September. Things start getting a little more fall-like. People want those hoodies on. They want pumpkins and stuff. You can get that Dunkelweiss at them, and then maybe you can turn it one more time and do like a Weizenbach, right? So it'll reduce that yeast cost, right? So in those times where you are taking a shot on a different on a non-mainstay yeast strain for you, that might be a good way to try to, when you fold those things in, try to plan out 3 uses for them, right? That'll make that cost a little bit easier to swallow, So I appreciate the question. Who was that? Was that Teddy? No, that was Larry Foote. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're gonna maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.